Hey YouTube, Mr. Merc Spencer here. I want to talk to you today about Peltiers. What's a Peltier? It's kind of like a photoelectric cell you would find in a solar panel, but these generate current from temperature differentials. Whether cold to hot, hot to cold, doesn't matter, but it's the difference in temperature that generates the current. So you basically have a battery cell, let's say 2 wires, okay? Lead, copper, aluminum, 2 different materials. You heat up one side, the other side's cold. That causes a current. Peltier is a much more sophisticated system based on that same principle. These things, you can get them on eBay for like $3. They're about the size, a little bit smaller than a saltine cracker. And they advertise that they can put out, they stop at 12 volts because the kind of material used will make a maximum potential difference, which is voltage. So it doesn't matter, you cannot get them past that voltage. So if you have these 2 different materials and it could potentially create 1 volt, 12 of them, 12 volts. That's one 12 volt cell. It cannot get past 12 volts. So you can change the amperage, but that voltage will stay at 12 volts. So you don't need rectifiers, bridge rectifiers, stuff like that. It's a very simple, reliable source of DC current. But they're small, $3 on eBay. If you have a wood stove, you've ever gone to the store, the hardware store, and looked at accessories for your wood stove, you will see one of these stovetop fans. And it's just meant to blow air. But you don't plug them in. They get hot, the fan starts spinning. This isn't a myth on the internet. This is an actual product you can buy that works. These things are basically an aluminum block or a steel block with one of these Peltiers and then a heat sink. So you have the hot from the stove contacting this block, heats up the bottom of the Peltier, which is your hot side. The heat sink draws air off and cools the top of the Peltier, which creates that temperature differential, which generates electricity. That fan is hooked up to the Peltier, and that's what powers it. $3 on eBay. Now, in the course of my job, I dispose of a lot of electronics, computers, DVRs, NVRs, things like that. I get asked to take them away and scrap them, and they're being replaced. What I do is I strip them of heat sinks, right? CPU heat sinks, cooling fans, magnetic induction chassis cooling fans. These are 3-speed. Select your switch. Everything's 12 volt. It's already 12 volt. Awesome. Stuff's free. So what I'm going to do, I've already got Peltiers on order from eBay. Get rid of these screws to in the way. Take this block of aluminum, heat sink, sit on my wood stove. Peltier on top. Screw another heat sink on top with the cooling fan. Instead of being this tall, this thing's going to be this big. Should cool off just as much. Take this 12 volt fan, hook it up with a 12 volt blowing fan, which will probably be one of these chassis cooling fans. I don't know how I'm going to mount this yet. I have to Franken weld something. I don't know. But that's going to be powered by this one Peltier. And it should spread the heat from the wood stove around the off-grid cabin. Should help out. Just an experiment, a hobby, to see if it works. If these Peltiers, $3 off eBay, shipped from China, shipped for $3 each. Okay? I'm going to buy a whack of them. I'm going to take all my heat sinks and cooling fans, and I'm going to try to build a bank around the outside of the wood stove, the back of the wood stove that you can't see. Because the wood stove, it's magnetic. Magnets stick to it. It doesn't get hot enough to demagnetize a magnet. It might weaken a little bit, but it's not that hot. They will stick to it. And I just stick these things around the outside. And if each one of those $3 Peltiers at 12 volts is 6 amps, 60 watts, 3 of them, it's 180 watts. And I could build these things for like this whole thing for $20 and charge my solar bank, which cost me $300 for 150 watts of solar. But it will charge this bank all night in the dark when that wood stove is going. Fall, summer, winter. Or spring, winter, not summer. I don't run the wood stove in the summer. I don't know if that'll work. You know, I'll need some sort of manual transfer switch to make sure it's only off of the wood stove, not solar, not at the same time. Interesting concept. I'll start off with just a home-built stovetop fan. We can measure the wattage, the amperage, the voltage, all that stuff once that's built and see if it works. If it's practical, all I'm paying for is a Peltier. Everything else is free. If I can get even 60 watts off my wood stove, you know, at nighttime, that'll run my lights and charge my tablet and a couple phones all night long. All night. $20? What can you do for $20? Can't see a movie, right? I could take my toddler to lunch at McDonald's for $20 if I didn't have anything myself. Yeah, just. So, I don't know if these things are going to pan out. They might last a week. They might last a year. I don't know. These fans are like $150 Canadian. And like Canadian Tire, Walmart. So if I can build one of them for $3 with spare parts, fantastic. If I can buy a bunch of them and generate if I can generate electricity to match my solar bank for like $20, $30, fantastic. But we'll start with the little fan, we'll see. Okay? I'll figure it out. My buck, not yours. My money, not yours. Your time. But hey, this is what you call an adventure in YouTube, right? I'll take all the risk. Do me a favor, watch the videos, find out. Let me do that for you. Because I love you guys. Copy that? Solid copy.